What's up YouTube? Today's video is an important one. I will share with you the best websites to buy soccer cards, and I understand everyone knows about eBay, Goldin auctions, etc. But in soccer there is a lot of websites that you need to be aware, especially if you are trying to buy raw, especially if you are trying to buy vintage/pre-modern. If this video is something that you have been looking for, is something that you actually end up enjoying, please do not forget to leave a like. It means a lot to me and is the best way to show support. Apart from that, a lot of my viewers are not even subscribers. I don't understand that very well. Consider to change that if you are in that position. And now let's go into the video. So guys, I think it's important to divide this video into categories: graded cards and raw cards. Buying graded cards is much easier than raw cards, specifically talking about vintage and pre-modern. Why? Because if you want to buy raw cards, you need to target the country of certain player. For example, the card you are seeing on the screen, Diego Armando Maradona, you need to most likely try to find these cards raw in Argentina. Of course, you will also find in other places, but if you want to potentially get the best deal, you need to go to Argentina websites. Graded cards are quite more easy. Why? Because the biggest auction houses in America, you can find them on eBay. So if a card is graded, most likely you will be able to find the card in a more mainstream website. That being said, I will start with graded cards, and graded cards, all the websites you are seeing on the screen, I really believe most of you guys are aware of them. PWCC and Goldin are two of the ones I use the most, and I believe they are the king auction houses when it comes to graded cards. PWCC, for example, tends to be quite good for vintage and pre-modern, but Goldin is also quite good. eBay, I mean, it's eBay, I don't need to explain. You can also find raw cards, of course, but even if you are trying to buy graded, you have a lot of cards there. Probably the most mainstream websites of all the ones I have on the screen. MySlabs may be a bit more niche, but I also believe this is an amazing website. If you are a seller, for example, you pay a very small commission, and I think that's amazing. Why? Because if you are a seller, you may come down when it comes to price, since you are not giving a lot to the website, to the house. Come see, I end up putting on graded cards, but also can be raw cards. You find both there. Alt is similar to PWCC and Goldin, but I would say probably a bit smaller. Katawiki is another popular auction house in Europe. Maybe you guys are not aware. Actually, I have a video about Katawiki on my channel. I think it's an amazing place to find raw products, especially rare Panini stickers, but you also can find graded cards. And of course, other auction houses. I could put Pristine Auctions, Heritage, etc. All of them, you eventually will find soccer cards, talking about graded cards. One thing that I want to mention is, look, I end up putting all of these websites in graded cards, but all of them, without an exception, they also sell raw cards from time to time. Even PWCC and Goldin, that tends to be quite more rare. Sometimes if they have a one-of-one or a very niche card/rare card, they will also sell it raw, but tends to be rare. They tend to focus more on graded. Social media is also an amazing place to buy graded cards. There is a lot of Facebook groups. Just put soccer cards on Facebook and you will find a lot of stuff. There is also Instagram people selling a lot of stuff, Twitter, Discord. For example, my Discord have a couple of categories to sell and buy cards, so I will leave a link below the video if you want to be part of my Discord and eventually find some deals there. But there is a lot of stuff. Social media in general is an amazing place, but in this case you need to do your own research. One thing that I would say is all the websites you are seeing on the screen, apart from, of course, me talking about social media, they offer you some type of protection, and as a buyer that's quite amazing. Now I will move on into raw cards, and that's a very different scenario. So let's move on into raw cards. And I will share with you the best websites I know in Europe, South America, and even Asia, because I believe sharing this type of information makes the market grow, makes everyone having a potentially better entry point. And let's start with this. Let's start with Spain. But before I start talking about Spain, there is a couple of things I also have to mention. guys, be extra careful. There is a lot of scammers when you are buying overseas, when you are buying in sites like, look, Milanuncios, for example. I think you can find amazing cards there. I think that you may have an amazing entry point there, but you also can find people that do not have great intentions. So be careful. Like I said, if you are buying on eBay, you have a protection. Actually, you have a lot. You have PayPal, you have the eBay protection. So you probably will be fine if you do all the correct steps. On the websites like Milanuncios, even Todo Coleção, etc., you need to be extra careful. Don't, if a deal is too good, just stay away. Most likely, I think that will be a smart decision most of the time. That being said, do your own research. I will say it again, be extra careful. Most of these websites don't offer any type of protection as a buyer. Sometimes they do, and I will mention a couple. For example, Todo Coleção does not offer a protection, but you can look at reviews. Wallapop, if you have an address in Europe, like I have, for example, you also have some type of protection, but in general, be very careful. Let's start with Spain. Todo Coleção is probably the most popular website in Europe when it comes to buy raw stuff. You can find Messi rookies, you can find Iniesta rookies, Xavi rookies, a lot of legends that have their main rookie released in Spain, and you also can buy some vintage. There is a lot of great stuff in Todo Coleção. Wallapop is also another website that I use quite a lot. As you can see, the links will be below the logos. Amazing website. You can also find sellers from other countries than Spain. I use more for Spanish releases, but is an amazing app / website to explore. Milanuncios, similar logic to Todo Coleção, even though is a bit smaller. And of course, you also have eBay Spain that I think you should take a look. A huge mistake that a lot of people do is they just look on eBay.com. That's a huge mistake. eBay is much bigger than that. Now let's move on to Portugal. And Portugal have a couple of websites that I think are great. OLX is probably the biggest one. Custo Justo is also a very popular one, but I would say OLX is the one that you can find rookies for Cristiano Ronaldo, even though they will not be that easy. And again, be very careful since there is a lot of scammers there. I know by experience, by the way. So, France. France is another country that you can find amazing raw stuff when it comes to vintage and pre-modern. Libon Coin tends to be the website I use the most. I also like vintage, and of course I also like eBay France. This is a good place to search for a lot of legendary players like Platini, Zidane, even Ronaldinho cards with PSG. You may find that stuff on the websites I'm sharing right now with you. So, moving on, Italy. I don't search on Italy that much, specifically talking about Subito. I know some people do. I use eBay Italy more than anything else for that country, but I also think it's worth to take a look at the options I'm sharing with you. Moving on. And before we go to the second part, I will go very fast on this, but please do not skip. There is a new Q&A on Patreon every week, so if you join the Patreon right now, you have access to exclusive content. Joining Patreon is a good way to support the channel, but like I said, I try to provide value there. And if you like my content on YouTube, you probably love my content on Patreon. You can see the last Q&A I did there. Amazing topics, for example, Messi rookies potential pop in 2026, market bottom, a very relevant topic right now, Xavi rookie material, set collecting, etc. Link will be below the video if you want to join my Patreon, or you can scan the QR code you are seeing on the screen. Another thing will be my Discord. We are more than 800 members, and like I mentioned today, is an amazing place even if you are trying to buy cards or selling cards. But apart from that, you can learn a lot, you can share your experience, a lot of amazing collectors there. And if you want to interact with me, I'm there a lot of times. So I'm there. I should be there much less than I am, to be honest with you, but I think it's an amazing place to be a part. Let's move on, and now let's go to Netherlands, another country that you can find amazing stuff. For example, if you are looking for Van Persie rookies, Suarez rookies, Cruyff, legendary player, you can find a lot of rookie material there. Of course, you need to be patient, you need to be careful. I know I'm repeating this, but I don't want to be the person that put you in a website like this and you get scammed. I'm afraid of that, even though I'm doing everything I can, of course. And you also have eBay in Netherlands. Moving on, Belgium, another amazing place to look to pre-modern stuff, vintage stuff. For example, if you love Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, rookies or early cards, this is an amazing place. There is a couple of sites. The eBay Belgium, I believe eBay Belgium is actually the smallest eBay in the world. I could be wrong, but I saw something like that online. But again, going from the top of my head, this website is 2dns.b. Not sure how to pronounce this very well, but you are seeing the site on the screen, so take a look. From these two websites, I would say one thing: I use Marketplace a good amount. The Belgium website, not that much. Moving on to Germany, and Germany, I will use eBay Deutschland quite a lot. eBay Germany, I think, is probably the best place. But you also have alternative. I believe sellers from Germany, they have a discount selling on eBay. I will not even pronunciate these names; it seems too difficult. But yeah, check both websites. I use the traditional one a bit more. But to be fair, I also do not buy a lot on Germany. Moving on, Sweden, Tradera, very popular website. If you guys want to know the place where to find Alifa, Pelé, Rose, this is probably the best place, even though they are quite rare. For example, even the Ibrahimovic rookie sometimes appear there. There is a couple of other cards, I'm saying the two biggest ones, the Pelé, honestly the entire Alifa set, but also the Ibrahimovic rookie. Very popular website, I feel is actually quite secure comparing with other ones that I'm sharing today, and is worth to take a look. Let's keep moving on, and now let's go to Japan. Baie is a website that I use quite a lot. I use more for TCG, since I collect Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc. But you can also find some cool product related with soccer there. Specific if you are collecting WCCF, this is probably the best website to buy the set, to buy that specific brand from Panini. Again, in this case you have protection, even though be careful, see what's going on, but they offer you protection. You can pay via PayPal. Moving on to Brazil and Argentina, and you can apply this logic to South America in general. Mercado Libre and Mercado Libre for Brazil, Mercado Libre for different countries in South America, but let's focus on Argentina. You can find, for example, in Mercado Libre, early stuff for Maradona, maybe, if you are lucky, Agüero rookie. On Mercado Libre, I mean, Brazil have so many legends, I will not even mention all of them, but again, Pelé rookies, Ronaldinho rookies, Kaká rookies, this is a good place to take a look. Do not think things will be super easy. You need to be patient, you need to grind the market, but eventually you may find a raw copy. Be very careful for a couple of not for all, but for some websites that I'm sharing today, you may have to find what's the name, a person that is between you and the seller. So there is that. But I use both websites quite a lot, and I made deals there in the past. Moving on, China, probably the ones you guys are not expecting. But China, you can also find a lot of good product, more modern than pre-modern and vintage, of course. But for example, I use Card Lobby a good amount. You cannot create an account on the website. You actually need to send an email to the email you are seeing on the screen. But if you like to buy Topps Chrome, Panini Travel actually is quite huge there, or was quite huge there at one point in time. This is actually a great website. Then we also have Taobao. This is a giant website. You can create an account. Some sellers will send to you, others won't. So do your own research on this front, but it's also an amazing place to find modern stuff, and sometimes even some specific Chinese sets that I would be honest, I'm going to be honest with you, I would not recommend, since most of these sets, I don't know if they are even legit, if one day will be graded, but maybe find something that you like for very cheap, and that's totally fine. So this is everything for today's, guys. I thought I end up sharing with you a lot of websites. Hope you can find some value in a video like this. But to finish my thoughts, guys, Facebook groups, Discord, Instagram, Twitter, and more. guys, enjoy the grind, enjoy the journey. I know I say this all the time, but I really believe this is probably the most important message I can pass to you, is you need to enjoy collecting, you need to enjoy the grind, that again, getting the cards that you want, it's an amazing feeling, but the process to get that card is even better. And in soccer specific, talking more about pre-modern and vintage, you need to have Force of Will. Force of Will was one of my favorite cards in Magic the Gathering, and I thought it was funny to share with you the cards, since I believe you really need to have Force of Will to grind the market like soccer, to grind the market like vintage and pre-modern. I will say it for the last time, and I know I'm being quite annoying. Please be careful when buying on all the websites I end up sharing with you. Do your own research. If you have any doubt, you can send me a DM on Instagram, or leave a comment on YouTube, or go to my Discord and talk with me and other collectors. But it's very important to pass these matches. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the grind, like I said, and see you guys tomorrow. Bye.